Guys, you get online and, you're looking for information about stuff. And, one of the more popular topics online has been personal finance. But there's a bunch of different influencers in each different space, just like there is in finance. But, you know, some of them don't have your best interest at heart, right? So I kind of want to talk about some red flags, what personal finance influencers are, what do they do, stuff like that. But first, personal finance influencers, you know, so a personal finance influencer is just someone who's going to use social media platforms to offer tips and insights on money to, their followers, or whoever clicks on their video or sees their reel picture, anything like that. Now, these are often everyday people who are just using their own experiences with money to help others solve financial problems. While some influencers may have a background in financial services, such as working in like banking, in real estate, or even being a financial advisor, it isn't a requirement to become one. Personal finance influencers create content related to different financial topics and they provide it to their followers for free. Now, this content can include blog posts, social media posts, podcasts, financial printables, right? Downloadable PDF files you can print, ebooks, guides, courses, workshops, webinars. The list goes on. Some of the most popular channels for, financial influencers is going to be, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, stuff like that. Influencers can also create their own like blogs or websites to promote their content and they can monetize their blog or social channels in a variety of ways, including engagement in affiliate marketing. We've talked about that. Running ads on the videos, right? There's a pre-roll ad on every YouTube video, and then there's mid-roll ads if it's over 8 minutes, right? Selling digital or physical products, right? Charging fees to access premium content and creating sponsored content. You'd be watching your favorite YouTuber, then all of a sudden, this video brought to you by, stuff like that. Some influencers may even, offer coaching services for a fee, but here's a little, let's just say a little extra information. Personal finance influencers, they still got to follow Federal Trade Commission rules for disclosing affiliate or sponsored relationships with brands. That's why you hear them say, hey, like this video was sponsored by so and so, right? And then they do like a little 30-second ad on it later in the video, right? They have to tell you that. So, who's going to use social media for financial advice? Well, anyone can search social media for financial tips and advice, but it's particularly appealing to younger adults looking for content that's easy to consume and understand. A survey by the National Association of Personal Financial Advisors found that more than one third, almost 40% of Americans under age 65 get financial advice online or from social media, while more than one fourth of Gen Z gets money tips through social media platforms. In terms of the most popular social media outlets for getting financial advice, there's a little ranking system for it. 63% of Gen Z Americans and 71% of millennials use YouTube to discuss financial planning. 56% of Gen Z Americans, they go to TikTok for short videos about finance. 33% of Gen Z young adults and millennials say Facebook has had an influence on their money decisions. 32% of millennials and adult Gen Z cite Instagram as having an impact on their financial decision making. Right? Young adults are also turning to Reddit and Twitter as outside the box options for getting financial advice. Part of the appeal may lie in the fact that much of this information is offered for free. They can be more attractive to young adults who would rather avoid paying a 2% in annual management fees that financial advisors usually charge. Another draw might be its relatability. A 20 something, young 30, who's struggling to grow their income or pay off student loans may be able to relate more to someone who's a little bit older who has successfully paid off their debt with side hustles than a financial advisor in their 60s who has a seven-figure net worth. Likewise, women, or people in the BIPOC community or those in the LGBTQ community, you know, even disabled, like they're going to seek out personal finance influencers who, might share similar backgrounds rather than looking for help from an industry that is still significantly lacking in diversification. Using hashtags such as hashtag financial advice or hashtag money tips, it can make it easier to search for personal finance influencer content on social media. Now let's talk about some of those red flags, right? Because before taking a personal financer's, you know, inf, you know, advice, it's important to make sure that the information you're getting is trustworthy and that they have a proven authority and credibility, right? So we want to watch out for some of these common red flags to help you identify which influencers aren't legitimate. So some of the common ones are going to be, promises that are too good to be true. Some personal finance influencers who frequently use, terms such as foolproof, guaranteed, or no fail may need to be taken with a grain of salt. There's no absolute guarantees when it comes to money. Also beware of any influencers who promises to help get, you rich quick with minimal effort. That's not how that works. Right? Another one is going to be the hard sell. Genuine influencers are interested in helping their followers improve their financial situations first. Any money they make should come second. If you're constantly bombarded by sales pitches, it should be a sign that an influencer doesn't have your best interest in mind when dispensing financial advice. The next one's going to be lack of proof. Influencers who claim to be making 100K a year from side hustles or say they've retired at, 35, they should be able to back that up. If an influencer can't show you the receipts to demonstrate how they achieve their success, you should approach their advice with a healthy amount of skepticism. It also doesn't hurt to look up a scattering of facts the influencer cites on trusted sources like the IRS or SEC websites. Are they accurate, careful, are they up to date? Another one to talk about is pushing too many paid promotions. Influencers can make money through affiliate marketing or sponsored posts. This is actually quite normal. However, if they're constantly pushing products that they themselves have not used or are writing sponsored post after sponsored post, it may be a sign that earning money, not sharing genuine financial advice, is their main motivation. The next one to talk about is going to be lots of followers, but little engagement with them. An influencer who boasts hundreds of thousands or even millions of followers, that might seem pretty impressive, right? But it's important to look at how many of those followers actually engage with their content, liking or commenting or sharing it. A high follower count could be hiding bots instead of, real individuals. And one of the last red flags to talk about is requests for money up front. If an influencer is going to ask you for money or gift cards before providing content, a product, or a service, that's a dead giveaway that they're just scamming you. It's just a scam. Don't fall for it. So, should you get financial advice from social media? Well, whether you feel comfortable getting money tips and advice from social media platforms can depend on how reliable you think that information is going to be. Social media influencers can provide financial advice for free, which is a plus if you're in a tight budget. But it shouldn't necessarily be considered a substitute for advice from a financial advisor, financial planner, or accredited, counselor. So how could you spot these scams? Well, a personal finance influencer who makes these promises that seem too good to be true or asks for money, from you without giving you any content or services is probably a scammer. Beware of anything that feels off or odd. In other words, trust your gut and avoid influencers who give off the wrong vibe. Well, can anyone offer financial advice online? Well, sure. Anyone can, technically. Anyone can share financial tips or insight through, social media channels, a podcast, a website, a blog, YouTube. Whether that information is accurate and legitimate, however, can depend on the individual sharing it. Again, personal finance influencers often use their own experiences to inform the advice they share, which may or may not include, professional expertise in the financial services industry. Still, having a financial certification is not going to hurt. So, what's the bottom line here? What do we take away from all this? Well, asking the right questions can help you find the right personal finance influencers to follow. For example, ask yourself what motives this person, you know, they have in sharing their money tips. Is it a genuine desire to help others, or is it just about making that money? If they're leveraging social media platforms to make money as an influencer, are they disclosing affiliate relationships and sponsorships? Are they transparent about how they make their income? Can they back up their claims with verifiable proof? Looking under the hood and kicking the tires can help you determine whose advice is worth your attention. You know, for me, most of the time, most of my videos are just based off questions that I get from people that I work with or friends. So most of my videos are just like, hey, someone asked me a question, and if I already know the answer, I'll do a little research, make a video on it. If I don't know the answer, I'm going to do a bunch of research and then make a video on it, right? I'm not trying to sell anybody anything. I don't need your money, right? But I would like to give you information to help you make a better decision, because one good decision can lead to another good decision, and then next thing you know, you've made a bunch of good decisions, and you're out of debt and you're doing well in life, right? And that's where everyone should be. I really do want the best for everyone, and I think you can do it. I know quite a few people who have been struggling paycheck to paycheck, and they get on a plan, and they get out of debt and they're doing well. So I really believe that sharing information and just giving you guys information is the best way to go about, doing, anything online. Sponsorships and stuff like that, those are nice, but it's gotta be a company that, you use, right? Or you like, something like that, right? So, the only thing I'm ever gonna ask from you guys is, if you like the video, hit that thumbs up button. Maybe share the video. If you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. But until I see you guys in the next video, y'all be safe.